Welcome to Shop Strategy. This deep dive is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store.
Okay, let's unpack this. If you run a Shopify store, you probably know the feeling, right? It's getting late, maybe 11 p.m., and bam, you realize you have nothing planned for content tomorrow. You're just staring at a blank screen, scrambling for ideas, maybe, throwing something together last minute. That kind of frantic late-night stress, that's really the enemy of effective content.
Absolutely. And, well, that reactive approach means content always feels like a chore, doesn't it? It drains your energy instead of being this powerful asset it could be for your store. What the material we're diving in today lays out is that content calendar. Well, it's the secret weapon against that panic. It takes you from that chaotic posting to a real strategic advantage, one that doesn't just fill a feed, but actually drives traffic, engagement, and, sales. Yeah, and this isn't just about like slapping dates on a calendar grid. This source material gives us a really comprehensive blueprint, specifically for a Shopify store, everything from planning right through to execution.
That's right. And our mission here is to pull out the most important actionable insights from this guide. We want to give you a clear framework, something tangible for turning your content from a headache into a valuable tool for growth.
All right, let's jump in then. So before we get into building one, let's just clarify what a Shopify content calendar really is. It's more than just a schedule, isn't it?
Oh, much more. The guide really emphasizes it's not just a list of posts. Think of it like the central nervous system for all your marketing. It's where your blog posts, your social media, email campaigns, even SMS, it's where they all connect and coordinate.
The central nervous system. I like that. That paints a clear picture. It's the hub, making sure everything works together.
Exactly. And for a Shopify merchant, this is just crucial. It's the bridge between your products and your customers, built through content. It helps you nail the timing, lining things up with product drops, sales, or just consistently delivering value.
So people engage even when they aren't quite ready to buy yet.
Right. And the source points out it becomes a collaborative hub, too, which, as a team grows, must be invaluable.
Yeah, I can see that. Everyone gets visibility into the bigger picture.
Totally. The email writer knows the angle the blog is taking. The social media person knows what product's being featured next week. It aligns everyone.
Okay, so it's the strategic brain. But, for a busy store owner already juggling so much, investing time to build this, it sounds like a big ask. Why is it really worth it?
Well, the benefits they highlight are pretty compelling. First up, enhanced consistency and brand alignment. Customers trust you more when they know what to expect, right? Seeing that consistent voice, that visual style everywhere, it makes your brand feel solid, recognizable.
And that consistency drives real results. I remember that jewelry store example from the source.
Yes, that was a great one. They saw a 47% increase in engagement just by committing to consistent schedules and messaging. They weren't just posting randomly, they showed up reliably. Their audience actually started looking forward to their content. The source called it appointment viewing.
Appointment viewing. For a Shopify store, that's brilliant. Okay, so consistency. What else does the calendar fix?
Improved operational efficiency. This hits that 11 p.m. panic right on the head. A calendar forces you to plan ahead. It gives you clear timelines, assigns tasks.
So you're not scrambling reactively anymore.
Exactly. You can batch similar tasks, schedule photo shoots when it makes sense, give your team or just yourself reasonable deadlines. There's that clothing retailer example too. They cut production costs by 30% just by planning quarterly with a calendar. That's a real impact.
30% cost reduction. Wow, okay, that's significant. What are the strategy side of things?
Well, the calendar enables real strategic planning and optimization. Without it, content is often just, content, stuff you put out there. With a calendar, every piece can tie back to a specific goal, launching a product, clearing inventory, building authority, whatever it is. You can spot gaps, avoid posting the same thing over and over, and critically track what actually works so you can do more of it.
Okay, so structure, efficiency, smarter content. Got it. Let's get practical. How do you actually build this thing? Where do you start?
The source really emphasizes building a solid foundation first. Decide on the scope. Are you tracking everything in one place or maybe separate calendars for email and social feeding into a master view?
For smaller stores starting out, one unified calendar probably makes sense.
Yeah, that's often the easiest way to begin. And the tip about color coding. Simple, but really effective.
Right. Seeing the mix at a glance, blog, social, email, campaigns.
Exactly. Makes it easy to see if you're balanced. Then think about your planning horizon. You need that detailed view for the next week or month, definitely, but also a broader, maybe quarterly framework for those bigger seasonal things.
Like that home goods store example they mentioned.
Yeah, they had that hybrid approach. Detailed daily stuff for the current month, weekly blocks for the next couple, and then broader monthly themes further out. It gives you flexibility, but keeps the long view.
What absolutely has to be in the calendar entry for each piece of content? The essentials.
Okay, the must-haves are pretty clear. Publication date and time, the content type or format blog, reel, email, whatever its status, like draft or scheduled, who's assigned, and which campaign it supports.
And for stores maybe doing more complex stuff.
You can add things like the target audience, keywords, distribution channels, maybe even track performance metrics right there. But, and this is important, the guide warns against making it too complicated at the start. Start simple enough that you'll actually use it consistently.
That's the key, isn't it? Don't let the tool become the barrier. How do you ensure this calendar actually supports the business goals?
Critical point. The calendar must align with your commercial objectives. Start by mapping out your key business milestones. Think product launches, big sales, seasonal peaks, holidays, or maybe times of year really relevant to your niche. Build your content around those.
So content before launch, during, and after, like a whole arc.
Exactly. The source outlines planning content in 3 phases. Pre-launch to build awareness, launch phase focused on action, and post-launch to keep momentum going, get feedback.
I remember the activewear store example doing that, building their whole calendar around product drops.
They did. They created these content clusters starting weeks before the drop and continuing for weeks after. It created this continuous buzz, not just a one-off announcement.
Okay, structure, goals are defined. Now, the tools, spreadsheets, project management software, dedicated tools. So many choices. How do you pick?
You know, the single best piece of advice here from the source, the best tool is the one your team will actually use consistently. That's it. Prioritize ease of use, accessibility over having every single bell and whistle, especially when you're starting.
Makes sense. What are the common go-tos?
Well, spreadsheets, Google Sheets, Excel, they're super popular. Flexible, collaborative, free or cheap, great for small teams or solo operators. Then you've got project management platforms like Trello, Asana, Monday.com. They offer more visual workflows, task management, good for tracking dependencies if multiple people are involved. And then there's the dedicated software, CoSchedule, Buffer, that kind of thing. They have specialized features, automation, integrations, but often a higher cost.
And using a mix is pretty common too, right?
Oh, very common. Lots of stores use a master spreadsheet for the big picture planning, then leverage the built-in schedulers in their social or email tools for the day-to-day execution.
When you're looking at options, what specific features should a Shopify owner really focus on?
The source lists a few key ones. Good collaboration features, definitely. The ability to store or easily link assets, like photos. Flexibility to fit your workflow. Visual timelines are helpful. And importantly, integration potential with your key platforms, email, social, your Shopify blog.
That integration piece sounds crucial. The cookware store example really hit that home.
It really did. They bought a fancy all-in-one tool, but it just didn't play nicely with their photography workflow, which was essential for them. They switched to something simpler, more flexible, like Airtable, that did fit their process, and suddenly everyone was using it. The tool has to serve you.
Got it. Pick the right tool for your process, and once you have it, set it up properly.
Yes. Take the time to configure it right. Create templates for common posts, set up clear naming conventions, define roles, implement some kind of simple version control. Get the infrastructure right.
Okay. Structure built, tool chosen, setup done. Now, the actual strategy. How do you decide what goes in this calendar?
It starts with gathering info. The source really pushes for content audits and research. Understand what's already working for you and what's working out there in the market.
So look at your own past performance first. Dig into the analytics.
Absolutely. Across all your channels. Which blog posts get traffic and conversions? Which emails get opened and clicked? What social posts get engagement? Which product pages convert best? Look for patterns.
That beauty store example was fascinating, realizing their tutorial reels were outperforming polished photos.
Right. 3 times more product page visits. That kind of insight, which came directly from auditing their performance, can totally change your strategy and, just as importantly, identify what isn't working so you can stop doing it.
And beyond your own store data, what other research helps?
Look at competitors, industry leaders. What are they doing? Where are the gaps you could fill? Use tools like Google Trends for seasonal patterns.
Like the kitchen supply store noticing the early spike for grilling accessories.
Exactly. They saw searches picking up in early May before competitors started pushing summer stuff. Planning earlier based on that data let them capture that initial interest. Smart.
And your own Shopify analytics site search, popular products,
Yeah.
that's a goldmine too.
Huge. It tells you exactly what your actual customers are looking for on your site right now. Direct insight.
And it's also about meeting people at different stages of their journey, isn't it? Awareness, consideration.
Yes, understanding that customer journey is fundamental. You need content for each stage. Educational stuff for awareness, benefits, and social proof for consideration. Practical info like demos for purchase, and support or loyalty content for retention.
The furniture store finding they needed more consideration stage content.
Yeah, they were great at drawing people in, but losing them before the purchase. Adding detailed guides on materials, care, things like that. Cut their cart abandonment by 23%. Specific content solved a specific problem.
Okay, so research tells you the topics and problems. How do you ensure a good mix of content in the calendar, not just selling all the time?
Balance is crucial. The source suggests thinking in 3 categories: educational, guides, tutorials, building authority, product-focused, showcasing your stuff, why it matters, and brand building, your story, values, emotional connection.
And lots of stores lean too heavily on just the product stuff.
They often do. It's the default. But that sustainable clothing brand found success with a different mix: 50% educational, 30% product, 20% brand. They doubled their organic social growth by shifting focus. It shows content builds the audience and brand first. And of course, vary the formats: blogs, social, email, video, images. Mix it up.
What about frequency? How often should you post?
Consistency over frequency, always. Find a rhythm that's sustainable for you. The source gives some starting points, maybe a few blog posts or emails a month, several social posts a week, but you have to adjust based on your audience and resources.
Like the home decor store that actually posted less often but improved quality until engagement shoot up.
Exactly. Better content less often beats mediocre content all the time. You can also create those content heartbeats like a Technique Tuesday, predictable features people look forward to.
And for Shopify stores specifically, what unique opportunities should anchor the calendar?
Key things highlighted are planning content around product launches, building campaigns for seasonal and holiday promotions, and really leveraging customer-generated content reviews, photos, testimonials. The specialty tea store example was great here. They structured their calendar around the story of different teas each month, not just generic holidays. That storytelling approach boosted their average order value by 40%.
That's really clever. Turning launches into ongoing narratives. Okay, research done, mix strategized, now actually building it. How do you get from strategy to entries on the grid?
This is where clear workflows and processes come in. Break down content creation into stages so nothing gets missed.
Like idea, brief, create, review, schedule.
Yeah, the typical stages: ideation, briefing, creation, review, revision, approval, scheduling, publishing, promotion, and then analysis. Not every piece needs every step, but defining the path helps. And be realistic about timelines, especially review.
That footwear store needing double the time for feedback.
It happens, but it improved their quality. Don't underestimate that back and forth. And assigning roles or responsibilities is vital. Who does what? Document it. Even if it's just you, know which hat you're wearing.
And having clear guidelines, brand voice, SEO.
Crucial. Document your standards: voice, visuals, platform rules, SEO basics. Create templates. That beauty store's product post template sped things up and boosted conversion because it ensured consistency.
Workflows, roles, guidelines. Check. How do you decide what goes on the calendar first? Prioritization.
Start by populating with your cornerstone or evergreen content. This is your foundational stuff: the big guides, resources, brand story, FAQs, buying guides, things with lasting value.
Content that keeps working for you long after you publish it.
Exactly. Like that outdoor gear store's backpack guide driving traffic for years. Schedule these strategically between your big campaigns for a steady baseline.
Well, and layer in the campaign and promotional content around those key dates.
Right. Tied to launches, sales, holidays. Work backward from those dates. The jewelry store used gift-giving holidays as fixed points and planned around them.
And crucially, leave some space for spontaneity.
Yes. The source suggests reserving maybe 20% capacity for reactive and trend-based content. Jumping on trends, timely customer feedback, industry news, UGC. Have a process for this flex content.
Like the sustainable home goods store's rapid response slot. Keeps things fresh.
Exactly. It lets you be nimble without derailing everything.
Okay, calendar built, populated, processes in place, but it's a living thing, right?
Right.
How do you manage and execute consistently?
That's key. It can't just sit there. Implement regular review processes.
Weekly check-ins, monthly reviews, something like that.
Precisely. Weekly meetings for progress checks, small tweaks. Monthly performance reviews to analyze what worked and refine next month's plan. Quarterly strategy sessions for bigger shifts. And assign a calendar owner.
The home decor store's content retrospective sounds smart.
Yeah, that habit of looking back, discussing why things worked or didn't, and documenting it, that builds institutional knowledge. Stops you making the same mistakes.
What about efficiency in actually creating this stuff? Batching.
Efficient production systems are huge. Batching similar tasks, writing all captions, recording intros saves tons of time. Using modular content you can repurpose helps too. And Tedlet libraries. Efficiency isn't rushing, it's cutting waste.
The skincare store's content capsule approach.
Yeah, a standard package of assets for each product. Ready to go. Cut production time by 40%. Smart.
And handling changes, because things always come up. Delays, issues.
Have protocols. Criteria for prioritizing changes. Communication channels. Documentation. And maybe simple contingency plans. If X is delayed, we swap in Y.
Like the furniture store's Ready Yellow Green system for flexibility.
A quick visual cue for what can move easily. Simple, effective.
Okay, planning, building, populating, managing. But when you publish, matters too.
Oh, absolutely. The source spends time on optimizing publishing schedules. Forget generic advice. Look at your audience data.
When are your customers active? When do they engage? When do they browse or buy on your store?
Exactly. Test different times on different channels. Remember the pet supply store. 8:30 p.m. Thursdays was their golden email time. Boosted revenue by 32%. Timing is specific.
And tools can automate the actual publishing part.
Yeah, leverage schedulers, native ones, third-party tools like Buffer or Later, your email platform. Automation can go further too, like the soap store using Zapier. Saves manual work.
Just keep a human eye on it for quality.
Always. Automation supports strategy, doesn't replace it. And balance consistency with flexibility. Have core cadences, but keep those flex slots for opportunities or adjustments.
Like the fitness store shifting resources in summer based on audience behavior.
Smart. Your calendar needs to adapt with your audience.
So we've done all this. Planned, built, populated, managed, optimized the schedule. How do we know if it's actually working, paying off?
Measurement. You absolutely have to measure. The source breaks it down well. Track operational efficiency and content effectiveness.
Operational KPIs. That's about the creation process itself.
Right. Completion rates, on-time publishing, production time per piece, resource use. How efficiently are you making the stuff?
And performance KPIs are about the results.
These show if the content is actually driving business outcomes, engagement rates, traffic, conversions, signups, add to carts, purchases, and ultimately, revenue attribution.
Tracking it all in a dashboard makes sense. That Kitchen Tools store's simple scoring system sounded useful.
Yeah, a quick way to compare impact versus effort. Monitoring performance regularly is key, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Compare against goals, benchmarks, and look deeper than surface metrics. A blog post might have low social buzz but drive tons of high-converted traffic.
Like the clothing store's styling guides, low engagement, high conversion.
Exactly. Don't just chase vanity metrics if your goal is sales. Document those insights. And periodically step back and audit the whole calendar system.
Look at the mix, the workflows, resource allocation. Is the system itself still right?
Yes. Is it working for you? The beauty store audit found they were spending tons of time on stories that drove little revenue. That triggered a big shift.
Use that data to actively refine your strategy. Be data-driven.
Double down on what works. Cut or change what doesn't. Refine schedules, adjust resources, test things methodically, like the jewelry store testing video versus static images.
And as the store grows, the calendar needs to evolve too.
Definitely. Scale capacity, add channels, get more sophisticated with segmentation, improve measurement. Growth might mean structural changes to your process, like the home goods store moving to platform-specific calendars.
And finally, make continuous improvement just part of the culture.
Yeah, institutionalize it, gather feedback, stay informed on platforms, formats, benchmark leaders, keep experimenting, document learnings like that outdoor apparel store's content playbook.
Okay, wow. That is a really thorough framework. From foundation to optimization. So pulling it all together, what's the big takeaway here?
The core message is that a well-run content calendar isn't just about being organized. It's a strategic asset. It directly drives business results for your Shopify store.
And it works best when it's connected to everything else, not just a marketing silo.
Precisely. The source stresses integrating it with broader strategy. Align it with product development, inventory, coordinate with merchandising. use performance data to inform marketing spend, use insights to spot new product opportunities.
Like that kitchen gadget store, using air fryer content engagement to guide product expansion.
Perfect example. Content became market research, informing product decisions. That shows the real power when it's all connected.
So for the listener, maybe still feeling that 11 p.m. scramble, what's the most important first step they can take away from all this?
The advice is really encouraging. Just start where you are, build incrementally.
Don't try to build a Taj Mahal of content calendars on day one.
Absolutely not. Start simple. Basic spreadsheet, maybe just for your main channel, like social. Add detail and process gradually as you get comfortable and see the value. Let the data guide where you expand next.
And worry about fancy tools later, only when you really need them.
Right. The goal isn't perfection, it's content that works harder for your store. Building this system, step by step, creates that virtuous cycle the source talks about. Better planning leads to better content, gets better results, justifies more investment, leads to better planning, and so on.
That virtuous cycle, that's the goal. And you can start it today, even simply.
And remember, while that great content calendar brings in traffic and engagement, you still need to convert that interest.
Right, which is where tools designed for conversion, like Growth Suite, can really complement your content strategy, turning that traffic into actual sales.
Exactly. Growth Suite is focused on analyzing visitor behavior on your site in real time. It then runs smart, effective on-site discount and email collection campaigns based on that behavior.
So it's about presenting the right offer to the right person at just the right moment.
That's the idea. It uses AI to deliver personalized offers precisely when they're most likely to convert someone from just browsing into a buyer, helping boost conversions without hurting your brand.
Helping you get the maximum return on all that hard work you put into driving traffic with your content calendar.
You can install it with a single click and start turning browsers into buyers.
And you can test it for free on your Shopify store.